Peter Martinez stood at the window of his lab, staring at the massive alien ship hanging in the sky above Denver. Even after 3 days, the sight still made his hands shake. Not from fear, from excitement. As Earth's leading combat engineer, he had spent 20 years preparing for this moment, even when others called him paranoid. The Zoraxian ship gleamed like polished silver in the morning sun. At 3 miles long, it dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. Yet Peter couldn't help but smile at what the aliens couldn't see. The web of defensive systems hidden across Earth's surface, waiting silently. "Sir, they're requesting another meeting," said Lisa Wright, his second-in-command. She handed him a tablet showing the alien transmission. "They seem irritated that we haven't accepted their protection yet." Peter ran a hand through his graying hair. How kind of them to protect us from all those dangerous aliens out there. By making us their slaves first. The Zoraxians had arrived claiming to be peaceful explorers, amazed to find intelligent life on Earth. But their tune changed quickly when they saw humanity's level of technology. They called Earth's computers aberrably primitive, and their weapons barely beyond throwing stones. Then came their offer of protection, which really meant submission. "Get me General Richards on the line," Peter said, walking to his desk. The desk's surface lit up with a holographic display. One of many technologies the Zoraxians didn't know humans possessed. And bring up the latest scans of their ship. While Lisa made the call, Peter studied the alien vessel's defenses. Their energy shields were impressive, but they had a fatal flaw. They were designed to stop energy weapons, not physical objects. The aliens thought kinetic weapons were outdated. Peter knew better. "Martinez, what's the situation?" General Richards appeared on screen, looking tired but alert. "The Zoraxians are getting impatient, sir. I don't think they're used to species saying no to them." Peter pulled up his defense plans. "But we're ready. The orbital platforms are in position, masked by our stealth tech. Ground-based rail guns are charged, and Project Thunderstrike is operational." The general nodded grimly. "The president is meeting with their ambassador in 1 hour. If they make threats again..." He left the sentence hanging. "Then we show them why they shouldn't underestimate primitive humans," Peter finished. The next hour passed in tense preparation. Peter's team ran final checks on their defense systems while monitoring the alien ship. They had hidden their best technology from the Zoraxians during first contact, making Earth appear less advanced than it really was. Peter had insisted on this strategy, remembering all his years of studying military history. Never let your enemy know your true strength. At exactly noon, the president's meeting began in the newly constructed First Contact Center in Washington, D.C. Peter watched the live feed, studying the Zoraxian ambassador. The alien was tall and humanoid, with silvery skin and 4 arms. It wore what looked like flowing liquid metal as clothing. "People of Earth," the ambassador began, its translator converting the whistling speech to English. "We have been patient. We have given you time to understand our generous offer. But we cannot wait forever. The galaxy is dangerous. You need our protection." The president remained calm. "We appreciate your concern, Ambassador. But Earth has managed quite well on its own. We decline your offer of protection." The ambassador's skin darkened, a sign of anger. They had learned. "You do not understand. We are not really giving you a choice. Your weapons are toys to us. Your ships can barely reach your own moon. Accept our protection, or we will be forced to save you from yourselves." Peter's phone buzzed, a message from his orbital sensors. The alien ship was powering up its weapons. "Mr. President," Peter spoke through the secure line. "They're preparing to attack. Permission to show them our toys." The president gave a slight nod, invisible to the ambassador. "Ambassador," he said firmly, "I suggest you reconsider your threats. Humanity is full of surprises." The ambassador laughed, a whistling sound like wind through pipes. "Surprises? Your most advanced weapons are simple projectiles and chemical explosives. Our shields. A sudden alarm blared through the alien ship. On Peter's screens, hundreds of tiny dots appeared around Earth, hidden satellites dropping their stealth fields. What is this? The ambassador demanded, receiving reports through its own communications. Those simple projectiles you mentioned. Peter's voice came through clearly now. We found ways to make them very, very effective. The satellites fired. Thousands of tiny objects accelerated to incredible speeds, each guided by advanced AI. The alien ship shields flared brilliant blue, and then flickered as the kinetic impacts hammered them from all directions. The Zoraxians had never encountered weapons like these, smart bullets that could change direction in flight, predict shield fluctuations, and strike at exactly the right moment. Impossible, the ambassador shouted. Your technology level is not what you thought, the president finished. Humanity learned long ago to be cautious. We've spent decades preparing for this moment, hiding our true capabilities. Would you like to see more of our surprises? Peter activated Project Thunderstrike. Huge ground-based generators powered up, creating a quantum disruption field. The alien ship shields began to waver, their energy bleeding away into subspace. This is your only warning, the president said. Leave Earth's space peacefully, or we will be forced to demonstrate more of our primitive technology. The ambassador's skin had turned almost white fear. Peter noted with satisfaction. You deceived us. We protected ourselves, Peter corrected. Something you should understand, given your claims about galaxy's dangers. Now, shall we discuss diplomatic relations between equals, or would you prefer to see what else humanity has been working on? The alien ship's weapons powered down. Slowly, it began to retreat from Earth orbit. The ambassador, trying to maintain some dignity, spoke stiffly. We will consult with our leadership about establishing proper diplomatic relations. After the aliens left the meeting room, Peter allowed himself to relax slightly. They had won this round, but he knew it wasn't over. The Zoraxians wouldn't take this humiliation lightly. Good work, Martinez, the president said. But I suspect we'll be seeing them again. Yes, sir, Peter agreed, already planning new defenses. But next time, they won't underestimate us, and we'll be even more ready. Lisa approached his desk with a fresh cup of coffee. Want to bet they're trying to figure out what else we've hidden. Peter grinned, pulling up the schematics for a dozen other secret projects. Let them wonder. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our ability to keep innovating, to think in ways they never expect. As the sun set over his lab, Peter watched the stars becoming visible in the darkening sky. Somewhere up there, the Zoraxians were reconsidering everything they thought they knew about Earth, and he had a feeling this was just the beginning of humanity's emergence onto the galactic stage. Lisa, he called out, get the team together. We've got work to do. The next time the Zoraxians came, Earth would have even more surprises waiting for them. After all, humanity had only shown them the basics of what they could do. The real innovations were still to come. Commander Lisa Wright knew the peace wouldn't last. 2 weeks after the Zoraxians' retreat, she stood in Earth's new Defense Command Center, watching dozens of red dots appear on the main screen. Multiple ships detected coming out of faster-than-light travel, reported Steve Baker, her sensor operator. Much bigger than last time. Count is at 30 vessels and rising. Lisa straightened her uniform and pressed the emergency alert button. Within minutes, the command center filled with Earth's top military leaders. Peter Martinez rushed in last, carrying a tablet filled with new weapon designs. They're not here to talk this time, Lisa said, pointing to the tactical display. The alien ships were spreading out in a classic attack formation. Looks like they brought their whole fleet. General Richards stepped forward. Time to show them what we've really got. Commander Wright, you have command of the Orbital Defense Network. Execute Battle Plan Delta. Lisa nodded and turned to her crew. Deploy the Ghost satellites. Activate adaptive camouflage. Let's make them work for it. Across Earth's orbit, Thousands of hidden defense platforms shimmered into existence, but these weren't the simple kinetic weapons they'd shown before. These were humanity's real defensive line. The Zoraxian fleet launched their first attack without warning. Bright beams of energy shot toward Earth, but they hit nothing but empty space. The Ghost satellites had already moved, their quantum positioning systems making them nearly impossible to target. "Return fire," Lisa ordered. "Pattern Alpha 3. The human response shocked the alien fleet. Instead of simple bullets, Earth's platforms fired a mix of weapons the Zoraxians had never seen. Swarms of microscopic robots ate through enemy shields. Quantum disruption beams created holes in space itself. Gravity weapons bent the path of alien energy weapons back at their own ships. "Sir," Steve called out, "they're trying to adapt their shields, switching to frequencies we used last time." Lisa smiled. "Just as we expected. Peter, show them your new toy." Peter typed quickly on his tablet. Across Earth's surface, hidden silos opened. What launched from them looked like old-fashioned missiles, but they were anything but simple. As they approached the alien ships, they split apart into thousands of smaller projectiles. Each one contained a miniature quantum field generator, technology the Zoraxians thought impossible for primitive humans to create. "Shield breakers are working," Peter reported with satisfaction. "Their adaptive defense systems can't handle multiple attack types at once." The alien fleet's formation broke apart as ships tried to dodge the unprecedented assault. Their return fire was fierce but uncoordinated. They had never faced an enemy that could attack in so many different ways at once. On the main screen, Lisa watched one of the larger alien ships spiral out of control, its engines dark. "Status report. 3 enemy ships disabled," Steve answered. 2 more showing heavy damage. "They're pulling back to regroup." But Lisa knew better than to celebrate too early. The Zoraxians still had the advantage in numbers and raw power. They were just unused to facing real resistance. "New signal coming in," announced Carol Peters from Communications. "They're requesting to speak with our command." The main screen shifted to show a Zoraxian fleet commander. Unlike the ambassador, this alien's skin was dark with patterns that looked like battle scars. "You have violated all known laws of technological development," it accused. "These weapons should be beyond your capability." "Your laws, not ours," Lisa replied calmly. "Humanity chose a different path of development. We focused on practical solutions, not just theoretical advancement." "Impossible," the commander hissed. "No species advances like this. You must have stolen this technology." Peter stepped into view. "We built it ourselves. While you focused on energy weapons and shield strength, we looked for ways around them. While you made your ships bigger, we made our weapons smarter. Every time you've attacked Earth, we've learned and adapted." The alien commander's skin rippled with anger. "Then we will simply overwhelm you with numbers. Your tricks cannot stop our entire fleet." The transmission cut off. Lisa turned to her crew. "They'll try to rush us now. All stations, prepare for mass attack. Deploy the drone swarms." From Earth's dark side, millions of tiny lights appeared. Each one was a combat drone smaller than a human hand, but together they formed a defensive web that could tear apart anything that tried to pass through it. The Zoraxian fleet surged forward, energy weapons blazing. Space lit up like 1,000 suns as their attacks met Earth's defenses. Some of the human platforms were destroyed, but for every one lost, 100 drones took its place. "They're trying to push through to atmosphere," Steve reported tensely. "Sector 7 is under heavy attack." Lisa keyed her command codes. "Launch the Guardians." From hidden bases around the world, Earth's newest defenders rose into space. They looked like ancient fighter jets, but their hulls were made of smart metal that could change shape mid-flight. Each one carried a pilot linked directly to their craft through a neural interface. Another technology the Zoraxians had dismissed as impossible for humans. "Guardian Squadron, engage at will," Lisa ordered. "Show them what Earth's pilots can do." The space fighters dove into battle. They moved in ways that defied normal physics, their adaptive hulls letting them turn impossible corners and absorb enemy fire. The pilots' neural links let them react faster than any alien targeting system could follow. Hour after hour, the battle raged. The Zoraxian fleet's superior numbers began to tell, pushing closer to Earth despite heavy losses. But that was part of Lisa's plan. "They're in position," Peter announced, activating the orbital defense grid. The aliens had been so focused on the visible defenses, they hadn't noticed the web of quantum-entangled particles scattered through the battlefield. At Peter's signal, these particles linked together, creating a massive energy field that trapped the Zoraxian fleet in place. "Final warning," Lisa broadcast to the alien ships. "Withdraw now, or we'll be forced to demonstrate our heavy weapons." For a long moment, space was silent. Then, slowly, the Zoraxian ships began to retreat. Their perfect formation was gone, replaced by a scattered withdrawal of damaged vessels. The alien commander's image appeared one last time. "This is not over. You have only seen a fraction of our true power." "And you've only seen a fraction of ours," Lisa replied. "Remember that before you try attacking Earth again." After the alien fleet jumped away, the command center erupted in cheers. But Lisa and Peter exchanged worried looks. They had won the battle, but the Zoraxians would be back. And next time, they wouldn't underestimate humanity's hidden edge. "Get me a damage report," Lisa ordered, already planning improvements to their defenses. "And Peter, I think it's time to show them what we can really do with quantum technology." Peter grinned, pulling up designs for weapons that would make today's battle look like a warm-up. "The Zoraxians think they've seen all our tricks. Wait until they meet our new AI-driven combat systems." As the adrenaline of battle faded, Lisa looked at the star-filled display screen. Humanity had proved itself again, but the real war was just beginning. And she had a feeling both sides still had plenty of surprises left to reveal. Captain Daniel Kelly floated in the darkness of space, watching the massive Zoraxian dreadnought through his suit's enhanced vision. His 20-person boarding team waited silently nearby, their adaptive camouflage making them almost invisible against the star-filled background. "Remember," he whispered into his comm, "we only get one shot at this. The Zoraxians think their ships are impossible to board. Let's prove them wrong." The battle around them provided perfect cover. Commander Wright's forces kept the alien fleet busy while the boarding team approached their target. The dreadnought was 3 times the size of the largest human ship, but size didn't matter for what they had planned. "Team status?" Daniel asked. "Breach team ready," responded Linda Harris, his explosives expert. "Tech team in position," reported John Cook, who would handle the ship's systems. "Combat team standing by," confirmed Mary Roberts, leader of the Marine Squad. Daniel checked his suit's quantum scanner. The dreadnought's shields were incredibly strong, but they had gaps. Tiny fluctuations that happened when the ship fired its main weapons. Gaps too small for normal boarding parties, but perfect for their new phase shift technology. "Breach point identified," Linda reported, waiting for shield pulse. The dreadnought's main gun fired, sending a blast of energy toward Earth's defense fleet. For a fraction of a second, its shields wavered. "Now," Daniel ordered. The boarding team activated their phase shift units. Daniel felt the strange sensation of his body passing through solid energy shields, like walking through thick syrup. They reached the ship's hull, and Linda went to work with her specialized cutting tools. 30 seconds until they detect us," John warned. Linda's tools made no sound in space, but Daniel saw the hull material melt away. They had studied Zoraxian ship design for weeks, finding the weakest points in their armor. "We're in," Linda announced. The team slipped through the hole into a maintenance tunnel. As soon as they were inside, their suits adjusted to match the ship's artificial gravity. Daniel checked his tactical display. They had memorized the ship's layout from scans, but actually being inside was different. "First target is 2 decks up," he said. "The shield generator control room. They moved quickly through the tunnels, using their suits' stealth systems to avoid detection. The Zoraxians were so confident in their shields, they had very few internal security systems. That was about to cost them dearly. "Contact," Mary warned. "Two guards ahead." Before the aliens could react, Mary's team fired their new stun weapons. The guards dropped silently, their nervous systems temporarily overloaded by precisely targeted electromagnetic pulses. "They're not dead," Mary confirmed. "Just like you wanted, Captain." Daniel nodded. Part of this mission was showing the Zoraxians that humans could be both effective and merciful. They bound the unconscious guards and kept moving. When they reached the shield control room, they found it more heavily defended. 6 Zoraxian engineers worked at control panels while 4 armed guards patrolled the space. "John, release the microdrones," Daniel ordered. From John's backpack, a cloud of tiny robots emerged. Each one was smaller than a fingernail, but carried advanced hacking software. The drones spread through the room's ventilation system, attaching themselves to control panels. "Starting cyber attack," John reported. "Their systems have no defense against physical infiltration." The Zoraxians noticed something was wrong when their control panels started malfunctioning. By then, it was too late. Mary's team burst into the room, stunning the aliens before they could raise the alarm. "Shield control is ours," John announced. "Starting data download now." Daniel moved to a captured control panel, amazed by what they were learning. The Zoraxians' technology was advanced, but inflexible. They had never thought to defend against the kind of attacks humans had developed. "Captain," Linda called from her position at the door. "We've got company. Lots of it." Alarms finally began blaring through the ship. The Zoraxians had discovered the breach. "John, how much longer?" "2 minutes for full download. But I've got something interesting. Their fleet movements for the next month. They're planning a major attack." Daniel made a quick decision. "Download what you can." "Linda, set the charges. We're about to have a fighting retreat." Linda grinned as she planted specialized explosives around the shield control systems. These weren't simple bombs. They were designed to create quantum disruptions that would prevent repairs. The first wave of Zoraxian soldiers reached them just as John finished the download. But the aliens weren't prepared for close-quarters combat with humans. Their energy weapons were too powerful, risking damage to their own ship. Meanwhile, the boarding team's weapons were designed exactly for this situation. "Microdrones to combat mode," Daniel ordered. The tiny robots swarmed the attacking aliens, interfering with their weapons and communications. Mary's team used the confusion to push through, creating a path back to their entry point. "Charges set," Linda reported. "Timer running." They fought their way back through the ship's corridors, using every trick they had developed. The Zoraxians found themselves facing an enemy that seemed to know their ship better than they did. Every time they set up an ambush, the humans had already found another route. "Entry point in sight," Mary reported. "But they got a welding team trying to seal our hole." "Not for long," Linda said. She pressed a button on her arm computer. The charges they had left behind detonated. The ship shuddered as its shield control systems were destroyed. Emergency alarms echoed through every corridor. "Now, while they're distracted," Daniel ordered. The team made their final push. Mary's Marines threw special grenades that filled the corridor with sensor-blocking smoke. The Zoraxian welding team never saw the humans coming. Everyone out. Daniel waited at the breach point as his team escaped back into space. The dreadnought's shields were down, and its crew was in chaos. As the last team member cleared the hull, Daniel sent the signal to Commander Wright. Within seconds, precision strikes from Earth's defense fleet targeted the dreadnought's now vulnerable weapon systems. The boarding team activated their phase shift units again, pulling away from the dying ship. Behind them, the mighty dreadnought began to drift, its main systems crippled by their attack. "Mission accomplished," Daniel reported as they reached safe distance. "And we got something better than we expected. Their whole battle plan." He watched through his suit's display as the Zoraxian fleet retreated, their flagship disabled and their secret plans compromised. For the first time, the aliens were learning that technological superiority meant nothing without tactical flexibility. "Good work, everyone," he said to his team. "But this information about their planned attack means our real job is just beginning." As their recovery ship approached to pick them up, Daniel looked back at the crippled dreadnought. The Zoraxians would learn from this defeat, but so would humanity. And humans had always been faster at adapting. "Commander Wright is going to love reading this data," John said, patting his secure storage unit. Daniel smiled. "And the Zoraxians are going to hate knowing that their impenetrable ships aren't so impenetrable after all." The recovery ship picked them up, and Daniel took one last look at the battlefield. Today, humanity had proved it could not only defend against the Zoraxians, but take the fight to them. The next phase of the war was about to begin, and Earth was ready. Catherine Morgan stood before the holographic display in Earth's new Galactic Relations Center, watching alien ships approach. But these weren't Zoraxian warships. They were diplomatic vessels from a dozen different species. News of Earth's victories had spread through the galaxy, and now everyone wanted to talk. "The Nexari ship is requesting immediate landing clearance," reported Navy Lieutenant Alan Foster, who stood beside her. "Their chief engineer seems very excited about something." Catherine smiled. The Nexari were known throughout the galaxy for their advanced technology, but had always avoided conflict. "Clear them to land first. They might be exactly what we need." The Nexari ship was beautiful, all curved lines and shimmering surfaces. As it landed in the specially built diplomatic port, Catherine couldn't help but admire its design. Even Earth's best ships didn't look this elegant. The Nexari delegation emerged led by their chief engineer, a tall, slender being with iridescent skin and 4 eyes. "I am Angcelera," it said through a translator. "We have been watching your battles with great interest." "Welcome to Earth," Catherine replied. "I'm Diplomatic Officer Catherine Morgan, and this is Lieutenant Alan Foster. We're honored by your visit." Angcelera's eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of excitement. "Your weapons, your tactics, they are unlike anything we have seen. The Zoraxians claim you must have stolen advanced technology, but we know better. You simply think differently." Alan stepped forward. "We had to think differently. Earth prepared for centuries, imagining all the ways we might need to defend ourselves. When the Zoraxians came, we were ready." "Not just ready," Angcelera said, "but innovative. You combine simple physical principles with advanced quantum mechanics in ways no one else considered. We want to learn from you." More alien ships were landing now. Representatives from worlds that had lived under Zoraxian control for generations came seeking hope. Catherine and Alan spent hours meeting with them, learning about the galaxy's political situation. "The Zoraxians have ruled through fear and technological superiority for too long," said a representative of the Kaldar, a species of warrior scholars. "But you have shown they can be beaten." In the command center, Peter Martinez and Commander Wright joined them to share tactical data. The aliens were amazed by humanity's approach to combat engineering. "You use physical ammunition with quantum guidance systems." Angcelera examined the schematics with all 4 eyes wide. "So simple, yet so effective. The Zoraxians never considered defending against such weapons because they thought them obsolete." "That's humanity's advantage," Catherine explained. "We never stopped developing any type of technology. When one path didn't work, we tried another. We learned to combine old and new in ways that surprised our enemies." Alan brought up the data stolen from the Zoraxian dreadnought. "They're planning a major attack, gathering their entire fleet. But with your help, we might be able to do more than just defend Earth." The alien representatives gathered around the display. Many had suffered under Zoraxian rule, watching their cultures and independence slowly fade away. Now they saw a chance for freedom. "The Nexari can provide advanced shield technology," Angcelera offered. "Combined with your unusual weapons, it would be formidable. The Kaldar still remember the old ways of space combat, their representative added. Tactics the Zoraxians have forgotten. One by one, the other species made their own offers. Some had resources, others had technology or knowledge. But what they all shared was a desire to end Zoraxian dominance. Catherine watched the alliances form with growing hope. Together, we might be able to do more than just protect Earth. We could free the entire galaxy. Later that night, she sat with Alan in the strategy room, reviewing all they had learned. The Zoraxians had ruled through a combination of advanced technology and fear, but they had grown complacent, never imagining that a primitive species like humanity would show others how to fight back. The Nexari engineers want to start work immediately, Alan said, checking his tablet. They say combining their shield technology with our phase shift systems could create something completely new. Catherine nodded. And the Kaldar are already training our pilots in their ancient combat techniques. But will it be enough? The Zoraxians are gathering their entire fleet. That might be their mistake, Peter Martinez said, walking into the room. They're putting all their forces in one place, using tactics everyone knows. Meanwhile, we're building something they've never seen before. A real alliance. Commander Wright joined them, bringing up a galactic map. Look at this. Every species the Zoraxians dismissed as weak or primitive is reaching out to us. They're ready to fight back. They just needed to see it was possible. The map showed hundreds of worlds, all potential allies. The Zoraxians had created their own worst nightmare. They had given all these species a common enemy and a reason to work together. We need to move quickly, Catherine said. The Zoraxians won't give us much time once they realize what's happening. Ellen smiled. That's why Earth is perfect to lead this alliance. We're used to working fast, adapting to new situations, while they're still trying to understand how we beat them last time. We'll be coming up with new strategies. The next few days were a blur of diplomatic meetings and technology exchanges. Catherine watched in amazement as human engineers worked alongside alien scientists, combining their knowledge in ways neither side had imagined before. The Nexari's advanced shields merged perfectly with Earth's unconventional weapons. The Kaldar's ancient combat wisdom found new life through modern technology. Even smaller species brought crucial pieces to the puzzle, unique perspectives that helped create something entirely new. The Zoraxians won't know what hit them, Alan said as they watched the first joint training exercises. Human pilots flew alongside alien ships, learning to work together, creating battle formations that had never been seen before. Catherine looked out at the gathering fleet, a mix of Earth's practical warships and alien vessels of all shapes and sizes. We're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're fighting for everyone who's ever been told they were too primitive or too weak to matter. As the sun set on another busy day, she received word that even more alien ships were approaching Earth. The galaxy was waking up, realizing that technological advancement didn't have to mean following the Zoraxian path. The final battle is coming, she told Alan as they prepared for the next day's meetings. But this time, Earth won't stand alone. In her office, Catherine added another page to her diplomatic log. Today marks a new chapter in galactic history. The Zoraxians thought they were punishing Earth by attacking us. Instead, they showed everyone that even the mightiest empire can be challenged. Now, the only question is, are they ready for what comes next? Admiral Susan Parker stood on the bridge of Earth's newest flagship, the Defiant, watching as the combined fleet assembled. Human ships flew alongside Nexari cruisers and Kaldar battle vessels. Each species had brought their best technology and bravest crews to the fight. Zoraxian fleet detected, reported her sensor officer. They're coming in force. Over 500 warships, including 3 super dreadnoughts. Susan nodded calmly. Just as we expected. Send the signal to all ships. Begin Operation Thunderbolt. The plan they had developed was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Humans had provided the basic strategy, but every allied species had added their own unique elements. The result was a battle plan the Zoraxians couldn't possibly predict. "All ships reporting ready," said Peter Martinez from his station. He had come aboard to oversee the new hybrid weapon systems. "The Nexari shield upgrades are working perfectly." The enemy fleet appeared in the distance, a massive wall of silver ships that seemed to fill space itself. Their weapons were powered up, ready to crush what they saw as a pathetic rebellion. "They're broadcasting," called out the communications officer. The Zoraxian fleet commander appeared on screen, his skin dark with battle patterns. "This ends today. Surrender now, and we may spare your worlds from total destruction." Susan smiled. "You still don't understand what you're facing, do you? Look around. Every species you dismissed as primitive or weak is here. We've all learned from each other, grown stronger together. Then you will all die together." The commander snarled. "All ships, open fire." The Zoraxian fleet released a massive barrage of energy weapons, but they were firing at targets that were no longer there. The human fleet had adapted the Kaldar's ancient ghost ship techniques, creating false images that fooled enemy sensors. "Phase 1, begin," Susan ordered. The first wave of Earth's new hybrid fighters launched. They looked like normal space fighters, but each one carried technology from 5 different species. Their hulls were made of Nexari smart metal, covered in human adaptive camouflage, powered by Kaldar quantum cores. The fighters dove into the Zoraxian formation before the aliens could react. Their weapons were simple kinetic rounds guided by advanced AI and enhanced by alien technology. The combination proved devastating. Zoraxian shields designed to stop energy weapons did nothing against these new threats. "They're trying to regroup," Peter reported. "Just like we predicted." Susan nodded. "Launch the drone swarms." Millions of tiny robots poured out of the Allied ships. Some were human-made, others Nexari, still others from smaller species that had joined the Alliance. Together, they formed patterns the Zoraxians had never encountered. The alien fleet's formation began to break apart. Their mighty dreadnoughts found themselves surrounded by technology they couldn't understand or fight effectively. Every time they adapted to one type of attack, the Allies switched to something completely different. Incoming transmission from the Nexari flagship, called Communications. "They're ready for Phase 2. All ships, execute Maneuver Delta," Susan commanded. "Show them what real cooperation looks like." The Allied fleet moved in perfect harmony. Human warships provided cover fire, while Nexari vessels generated specialized shield bubbles. Kaldar ships dove through these bubbles, their ancient weapons enhanced by modern technology. Smaller alien vessels darted between the larger ships, each playing their part in the complex battle dance. The Zoraxians fought back fiercely, but for the first time in their history, they were facing an enemy that could match their technology and exceed their tactical flexibility. Their attempts to coordinate were disrupted by electronic warfare from a dozen different species, each using methods the Zoraxians had never bothered to defend against. "Their flagship is targeting us," warned the tactical officer. Susan watched as the massive Zoraxian super dreadnought turned toward them. "Now we show them our final surprise." Peter grinned as he activated the Defiant's main weapon, a combination of human ingenuity and alien science that had never been tested in real combat. The ship's hull began to glow as energy gathered. "Target locked," Peter announced. "Quantum cascade initiating." The weapon fired. It looked like a simple beam of light, but it was far more. The beam carried specialized nanobots developed by Earth, enhanced by Nexari energy technology, guided by Kaldar targeting systems. When it hit the Zoraxian flagship's shields, it didn't try to break through them. Instead, it transformed them. The alien ship's own shields began to collapse inward, turned against it by the combined scientific knowledge of a dozen species. The mighty vessel's weapons went dark as its power systems failed. "All ships, concentrate fire," Susan ordered. "End this now." The entire Allied fleet attacked at once. Human kinetic weapons struck alongside Nexari energy beams, and Kaldar quantum torpedoes. The Zoraxian flagship, pride of their empire, broke apart under the assault. Enemy fleet is in full retreat, reported Tactical. They're abandoning their disabled ships. The bridge crew cheered, but Susan remained focused. Launch rescue operations. Show them how civilized species treat their defeated enemies. As Allied ships moved to rescue stranded Zoraxian crews, a final transmission came from the retreating fleet. The commander's face showed something no one had seen before: respect. How? He asked simply. How did primitives defeat us? Because we're not primitive, Susan replied. We're different. Every species develops in its own way. True advancement comes from learning from each other, not looking down on those who are different. The commander was silent for a long moment. The Empire will not accept this defeat easily. Then they'll face all of us again, Susan said firmly. The galaxy is changing. Either change with it or be left behind. After the transmission ended, Susan looked around her bridge. Humans worked alongside aliens at every station, each bringing their own strengths to the team. This victory hadn't just been about superior technology or tactics. It had been about understanding that real strength comes from working together. Send word to Earth, she ordered. The Zoraxian fleet is defeated. The Alliance holds. And the galaxy will never be the same. Peter walked up beside her as they watched the cleanup begin. You know they'll be back eventually. Yes, Susan agreed. But next time, they'll face an even stronger alliance. Every day, we learn more from each other. Every day, we grow stronger together. As rescue ships saved Zoraxian survivors and recovery teams salvaged advanced technology, Susan thought about how far they had come. Earth had started this war alone, seen as primitive by the galaxy's greatest power. They would end it as leaders of the strongest alliance the galaxy had ever seen. Send a message to all ships, she ordered. Thank them for their courage and trust. Remind them that this victory belongs to all of us. And let them know, this is just the beginning. The stars seemed brighter somehow as the Allied fleet regrouped, their formation a symbol of unity that would change the course of galactic history forever. Humanity had not only survived its trial by fire, it had shown the galaxy a new way forward, one where innovation and cooperation mattered more than raw power. The war beyond the stars was over. The age of alliance had begun.